If I can't keep my head held high enough, I'll just speak love and watch the smiles come, bring my spirits up. There's some shit I like to fix, but I still know that I'm blessed.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my coverage of the Kristin Smart case. And I do want to take a second to thank all of you who have continued to follow Kristin's case. It shows how much you really care, keeping track of her on this little teeny channel. So I appreciate you, and I'm sure Kristin does too, and her family. We just don't want her to fade into the background. So I already touched on the upcoming hearing dated December 2nd, 2022 at 9 a.m. at the Monterey County Courthouse in Salinas, California. Let's take a look at the 4 pages, the notice of motion and motion to continue sentencing filed by Paul's attorney, Robert Sanger, back on November 18th of 2022. The motion describes that Paul's defense attorney is preparing a motion for a new trial and other post-verdict and pre-conviction motions. Sanger says he won't have enough time before the scheduled December 9th, 2022 sentencing date to file, serve, and allow prosecution to respond, or for the court to consider them. So let's start with page 1 for case number 22CR003712, Paul Flores, of course. According to Penal Code Section 1050, subsection B, states, there must be good cause. Page 1 just names the parties and basically opens up on what Sanger is asking the court to do for him with the sentencing delay. Page 2 has additional legal lingo where it says, the memorandum of points and authorities served and filed herewith, such supplemental memoranda of points and authorities as hereafter may be filed with the court, all pleadings and documents heretofore filed with the court, and such oral arguments as may be presented at the hearing on the motion. Page 3 says, well, it actually repeats what we just went over. It repeats it a few times. And about mid-page is what we haven't covered yet. And it mentions the defense has requested transcripts that have not been prepared due to the press of business on the part of the court reporters. Sanger states, the transcripts are necessary to properly prepare the motions. He also states that he wants to alert the court and counsel as early as possible to avoid inconvenience to the court or possible witnesses. Page 4 mentions that showing of good cause. It also repeats not having enough time again. And in closing, page 4 states the application for a new trial must be made and determined before judgment, per Penal Code Section 1182, and then signed by Robert M. Sanger, attorney for defendant Paul Flores. So I did some research, and according to California court rules, there are 6 primary grounds for new trial. Number 1, jury misconduct. Side note, we know that Sanger did try to get jurors dismissed on multiple occasions during the trial. Number 2, prosecutorial misconduct. And we know that Sanger was bitching about that every chance he got. Number 3, an error of law by the court. Now, I think that's doubtful. I feel like Judge O'Keefe really ran a tight ship. I think everybody in the back of their mind was really concerned about mistrial, new trial, appeal. And I really think that set the tone on how she ran the court, in my opinion. Number 4, insufficiency of the evidence. Well, we know in his opening statements and his closing statements, both, Sanger tried to say there was no evidence, just like Misek did. It worked for Misek. He got the not guilty verdict. It doesn't look like it worked for Paul. Now, some people think Ruben's outcome could affect new trial as far as Paul, so we'll see. I've heard some experts mention it. Number 5, newly discovered evidence. Well, that's doubtful. I'd love if we could find Kristin. That'd be the best evidenced, air quotes, there is. Number 6, loss or destruction of trial record or transcript. Now that's interesting, especially since this is being delayed because he's waiting for the transcripts. Nobody better lose that. Oh my gosh. Okay, I did also find out that only 20% of appeals in California that are even granted in the first place are successful. This is actually a motion for a new trial, though. It's not the same as an appeal, as I'm learning. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not going to play one, but I'm just giving you the surface level of what I've found out in layman's terms. It appears that an appeal versus a new trial is confusing, but it states that Singer will appeal on some reports, and then it states he wants a new trial in others, and I think that's just sloppy reporting. As we've learned throughout this process, media isn't too careful of the particulars, not even the names or the colleges the victims went to, for example. Wink, wink, you guys remember that in the coverage. Let's go a tad bit deeper. A motion for new trial is a method of review. It can save money and time for the litigants versus an appeal. And apparently, if a motion for mistrial is not successful, Paul could still seek review on an appeal. Unless a misstep in the new trial procedure precludes such review, one could only hope that it's shut down after these motions and we don't go further down the road. Dang it! I don't like the sounds of that. It sounds like this could still go on and on and on and on and on. Ugh. Unlike an appeal, a new trial is a fresh start. It is difficult to get a new trial in California. It will only be allowed after the initial verdict is vacated. So I'm not sure exactly. I'm sure he has to file a motion to vacate the verdict along with all the other stuff. That's probably a part of the post and pre and all that he's talked about. I'm anxious to know on what grounds Singer plans to pursue the new trial. I also wonder how long we have to wait for the judge to decide on a new trial. Right now, the court only has the sentencing delay before them, as Paul's defense prepares the other motions to file with the court. And I'm pissed off. I'm just going to say the entire trial we heard, it's up to the jury. It's up to the jury. The jury decides. It's only important what the jury thinks. It's only important how the jury interprets it. But do they really get to decide? It seems like if you don't like the jury's decision that you just asked for a do-over. What the heck? If I was a juror, I would feel insulted and angry. They devoted a lot of time, energy, tears, the whole bit. And it's not the first time that someone actually got a new trial. He better not. And a lot of people don't agree that Reuben was found not guilty either, but we have to accept it. It is what it is. It just seems that the court system's a little lopsided, oftentimes to me. I just keep thinking of Kristin's friends and family. And if it creates this much emotion for me, I just can't imagine how they're feeling. I just can't bear to think about more wasted time and money and heartbreak, all caused by Paul. We want to focus on finding Kristin. We are all tired of wasting our time on Paul. Many of us are all wanting additional answers like, is LA County filing more rape cases against Paul? As of November 23rd, 2022, someone with access to the court record says no charges have been filed yet. I wonder if they're using that for the negotiations to hopefully locate Kristin's remains. I hope this comment is correct, saying Judge O'Keefe will probably shoot the motion for retrial down. Hard. I agree. She was hyper-aware and expected Singer to do this, especially since he made multiple motions for mistrial during the trial, which Judge O'Keefe quickly denied each and every time. Let's review some of the scuttlebutt that's out there. M.R. Cook feels that Singer is likely to use misconduct by the prosecution as he tried throughout the trial, or possibly juror misconduct. I love seeing hopeful feedback like this, that maybe Paul will finally do the right thing and lead us to Kristin's remains. Hope is always important. So many people feel just like Kate here. Enough already. She wants Singer to accept defeat and points out that Paul has lived freely over the last 26 years and committed countless assaults while he was free. M.R. Cook doesn't see Paul leading anyone to Kristin. He states Kristin will have to be found by the community or the police, and we will never stop searching, I'll tell you that much, until she's found. Jesse here is straight up and says, lock his ass up. All right, it's hearing day. First thing I did was check the court calendar, and sure enough, Paul's on there still, so that's a good sign. Normally, the public has access via phone through a listen-only feature in the courtroom. It's a crime if someone tries to share the call. And I'm 99% sure it won't be available for Paul, but it's most definitely worth a try. So I have the phone number for Department 4, and I started calling starting around 8:58 a.m., and it said, if you're the host, push a certain number, and everybody else, please wait. And it just said, host is not available. Excuse me, the host has not arrived. Please wait. There's often delays, so I stayed on for a bit. I just worked on paperwork during the wait, and 10 minutes in, nobody had come on the call, so it wasn't really looking good. And come 9:15, I jumped ship. Let's see who covered it first. I have a feeling that Chloe Jones from the Tribune, who I believe is there, will probably have the first coverage. I'm going to check with her. I don't think Chris Lambert is there. I'll check. And of course, I'm going to check the local sources, KSBY, KEYT, and so forth. All right, there's nothing yet, but I do see that Chloe has an exclusive article featuring Ruben's attorney, Harold Misick, where he discusses how he contemplated no longer practicing law if his client was found guilty. That's how much he claims he believed in Ruben's innocence. Okay, by 10 a.m., Chloe Jones with the Slow Tribune had coverage of the proceedings. Thanks, Chloe. I have to be honest, I was never really a fan of the Tribune, but I must admit I do like Chloe's style. I appreciate her spunk and her very timely coverage. Her exclusives are revealing as well. All right, here's what happened. The judge agreed to the motion to delay sentencing, and now we have to wait 3 more flippin' months. I get so irritated at some of this. The court process can be grueling, and I am not a patient person to begin with. Now we need to mark our calendars for March 10th, 2023. Of course, in Salinas at the Monterey County Courthouse. The court documents from the proceedings confirm what we previously touched on in this episode, that Sanger is not preparing an appeal. He is preparing a motion for a new trial and other post-verdict and pre-conviction motions. He's waiting for the court to release transcripts so he can complete his motions. Remember, an appeal is a different motion. And I love how Chloe reminds us that this is the 10th time Sanger has attempted to restart Paul's trial. All of the 9 previous motions for mistrial were denied by Judge O'Keefe. On February 9th, 2023, they're going to have a status hearing just to make sure everybody's on track to filing motions and oppositions and so forth. And oh, Lordy, we all know how Sanger is always struggling with timely documents. I have a bad feeling this is going to drag on and on and on and on and on. Here's a cool tidbit from Chloe. 4 of Paul's jurors attended the hearing. One of them says that many plan to attend Paul's sentencing to see the outcome of the 3 to 4 months of their lives. Let's hope and pray the sentencing comes soon and that the motions for a new trial are denied, just like the other 9. Approximately a half hour later, KSBY covered today's proceeding as well. Here's some additional information they provided regarding the hearing. Everyone appeared via Zoom today. And apparently Paul is back in Slow County Jail now. So Paul, Sanger, the prosecution, Stan Smart, and others attended virtually, like I said. And Sanger told the court He has been made aware of new information that he plans to use to ask for the new trial, but he did not provide additional info. Oh my gosh. That sounds more like jury misconduct now. What do you guys think? The prosecution pressed the point that Kristin's family has a legal right to see this trial to its conclusion in a timely manner. You know, we hardly ever hear about the victim's rights. It's always the perpetrator that has rights, it seems, in my opinion. The judge agreed to this, and she warned the attorneys that she intends to proceed with the sentencing in March with no further delays. And of course, as we know, Paul faces 25 years to life in prison. Here's another tidbit. It looks like Chris Prevel, the prosecution in the Kristin Smart trial, has been promoted and will be spending much more time in Monterey County where the trial occurred after the change of venue from San Luis Obispo. Chris has been appointed as a supervising attorney for Monterey County District Attorney's Office. He will transition to the new job come January of 2023. The article states that Chris will continue to represent SLO County through the sentencing phase for Paul's trial, which was scheduled for 12/9 and now we know is rescheduled for March. SLO's District Attorney Dan Dow expressed how proud he is of Mr. Prevel. He described him as committed, professional, determined, and that he was able to achieve justice for Kristin. And I'm just wondering, as this drags on, how much longer will Chris be able to stay a part of it? I guess time will tell on all of this. And in the meantime, let us not forget, #find Kristin
If I can't keep my head held high enough, I'll just speak love and watch the smiles come.
Thanks for watching.
Bring my spirits up.
Don't forget to stop and smell the flowers.
There's some shit I like to fix, but I still know that I'm blessed.